Regieleki VMAX makes lightning type Pokemon so much better. Roll the intro. What is going on, everybody? Hitmonchan here, back again with another Pokemon trading card game early deck list, and today I wanted to cover my list on Regieleki VMAX. Now, Regieleki VMAX is a really cool Pokemon, but it's actually a support Pokemon, and that seems really strange at first. But when you take a look at its ability and then you take a look at its attack and the cards you can partner it with, you're gonna see what I mean. So Regieleki VMAX, what does it do? Well, it has the electrical transistor ability. Your basic lightning Pokemon's attacks do 30 more damage to the opponent's active Pokemon. Now, this stacks, which is important. Think about it. 30 more with one Regieleki, 60 more with another Regieleki, 90 more with 3 Regieleki, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing in today's video. We are playing a 3-3 line of Regieleki VMAX and a couple of different attacking partners to disrupt our opponent and deal a ton of damage to them. But before we get into the list, I wanted to say huge thank you to everybody here over on the Hitmonchan channel, everybody that has supported me, subscribed, liked the videos, watched all my videos, commented. Thus far, we just hit 200 subscribers on the channel, and I couldn't be more thankful. So thank you all very much. I'm excited to keep growing, keep making more awesome content, and keep providing you cool deck techs such as this one. So now, we're going to get into it after that brief word from our sponsor, which is just me. I am the sponsor, and I'm a very thankful YouTuber right now. So, what is this deck all about? This deck is all about powering up your other Pokemon with Regieleki's ability. Regieleki, though, has a pretty decent attack as well. It has max rumbling for a lightning and 2 colorless. You can do 220 damage flat. The only downside is you can't attack during your next turn. However, that's okay given that Regieleki has a free retreat cost. That's right, free retreat is absolutely incredible on a VMAX Pokemon like this, because you can bring it up and then you can start powering your guys up and then move it back to the active back to the bench, because it has so much HP. It can tank a lot of damage if you need it to, and it's weak to fighting, which fighting isn't really a prevalent type right now. So Regieleki is a very good pivot option and support Pokemon. It's really the best of both worlds, and it has a decent backup attack as well. And now, I know I've been keeping you in suspense. What are you pairing this card with, Hitmonchan? Well, I'm going to show you right now. Here is the deck list on screen. For our attacker, we're going to mainly be focusing on Vikavolt V. Vikavolt V had a couple of pretty cool decks recently, one with Drapion V and V-Star, which you could absolutely add into this list if you want to take out some of the different attackers to change the cards around a little bit. You can use Vikavolt V's Paralyzing Bolt attack. It does 50 damage, and it stops your opponent from playing item cards during their next turn. Now, that is very strong, because we were actually pairing this with an odd partner in Melanie. We're going to be playing Melanie and getting water energy into the discard, so we can actually attack with Vikavolt V on our first turn going second, which is pretty awesome, I will say. You can just item lock your opponent immediately if on your first turn going second, or on your second turn really easily. And there's a couple of other cards in here to complement that, but let's talk about the damage output. So 50 damage, nothing crazy. I mean, you don't even knock out like a Comfey with that. However, you get one Regieleki VMAX in play, you're going to be doing 80 damage. You get another one in play, you're going to be doing 110 damage. You get your third in play, you're going to be doing 140 damage. Put a choice belt on that, that's 170 damage, and you're two-shotting. 140 you're two-shotting V-Stars. 170 you're two-shotting VMAXs. That's absolutely insane on a card that stops your opponent from playing cards. And that's why Regieleki is so good. But Vikavolt is rotating soon, and even though we're playing 3 Vikavolt in this deck, pretty heavy Vikavolt count, we're going to need some other attackers that can kind of hold their ground and do what Vikavolt can't, because even though Vikavolt does a lot of damage, it sometimes suffers by the fact that it's got a 3 retreat cost. 210 HP isn't the largest, even though we do play a Cape of Toughness in here. So who else are we going to be using in this deck in order to help out our good pal Vikavolt? We're actually going to be running one copy of Luxray V. And now I know what you're thinking. I have not seen that card ever. What does it do? It actually came out in our Astral Radiance set here on the international side, and it has a really interesting attack in Fang Snipe. What Fang Snipe does is, for 2 colors, you can do 30, so you can power it up with Melanie and an attachment as well if you want to. It does 30 damage, right? And your opponent reveals their hand, and you get to discard any trainer you find in there. Now, think about how powerful that is in a deck that focuses on item blocking and disruption. You can essentially get your Luxray down, go into play, and if your opponent had like a really strong first turn and they got like a bunch of Pokemon down and they're running on a really low hand because they got that supporter and they know, you can just go into Luxray, boom, gone. Just buy supporter, and then you put them in the top deck mode immediately. And even think about if you play Roxanne, because we do play 1 copy of Roxanne in this deck. You can Roxanne your opponent to 2 cards, go in with Luxray, Fang Snipe. They got 1 card in hand to work with. If you're in the late game, your opponents use a lot of their resources, this attack can be very deadly, and its second attack as well is actually okay. Radiating Pulse discards 2 energy from this Pokemon, and your opponent's active Pokemon is now paralyzed. Now let's talk about the damage for a little bit. Let's say in a perfect world you're doing 90 more damage. On Radiating Pulse you're doing 210. You can knock out basic Vs with most basic Vs, a lot of basic Vs with Radiating Pulse. Slap your belt on there, you're going to be doing 240. That knocks out any basic V. So Radiating Pulse is very, very good as well because you can paralyze your opponent if you need to stall in a damage sense. Like if you already stopped them from playing their item cards with, with Vikavolt, so they're just like, alright, well I'm just going to get rid of all these with my Ultra Balls, or they can't even use Ultra Balls, but they're just like going to get rid of their hand, they're going to research, and they're going to draw some more cards, just try and find a way to get out of your item lock. Well, you can go in with Luxray and Radiating Pulse, paralyze your opponent's Pokemon, and what are they going to do, right? And just take a big KO that way. So Luxray is a really good backup attacker in here, and we're also playing 1 copy of Raikou V, just because sometimes you want to do a lot more damage, like you want to take a big 1-hit KO, and so we play that 1 Raikou. For the rest of our Pokemon, we're playing a 2-2 Bidoof Bibarel line. I really do like to have a specific draw engine in here, as well as Radiant Greninja to help us get our water energy in the discard, as well as just to draw cards. Like, who doesn't want to draw cards, right? And now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, you have all these, like, basic Pokemon that are different attackers for different scenarios. How are you gonna get around using all of them? Well, my trump card, quite literally, is Thornton. My ace in the hole is Thornton, because you can just Thornton and switch these attackers whenever you need to, and then use that desired effect. Like if you want to take a big 1-hit KO, you go into Raikou. You want to limit your opponent's actual hand size, you go into Luxray. Or you want to paralyze your opponent, you go into Luxray. Or if you need to draw more cards, you can go into Raikou and then start dealing some damage, or whatever you want to do. That's why I really, really like my version of this list, because it's not just straight disruption. As much as I love disruption decks, like they're really, really fun, it's not straight Vikavolt disruption, it's Vikavolt box almost. And Regieleki makes a lot of these smaller scale kind of attackers that are disruption do a lot more damage, and it makes them very, very viable. And we can also use Radiant Greninja because we play 4 water energy in the deck, so if we need to use Moonlight Shuriken, we absolutely can. Now I'm going to go through the rest of the deck here really, really quick. I believe I've covered the gist of it, but we're playing 3 Marnie, 3 Melanie, 2 Research, 2 Serena. If you don't know what Serena does, it is a very cool card coming out in our next set. You can choose one of 2 options. The first option is you can discard up to 3 cards in your hand, and then draw until you have 5 cards in your hand, which is pretty good if you want to get those water energies in the discard or your hand's getting a little bit clunky. Or you can just boss up a Pokemon V. You can switch your opponent's active with any Pokemon V, but it has to be specifically a V, which is why I like having 1 boss's orders in here as well, because sometimes you're going to want to boss something else up and then just knock it out while also getting the effect of Paralyzing Ball. We also have 1 Roxanne and 1 Thornton in here, as I mentioned earlier. We're playing 4 Quick Ball and 4 Ultra Ball, pretty standard search in this format, as well as 1 Evolution Incense. Now we're running 2 Crushing Hammer, a little light on the hammer count because I wanted to make room for these other attackers. However, if you want to go with a more streamlined list, this is exactly how you do it. You cut Raikou and Luxray, add 2 more hammers in, and then you're done. You're good to go, basically. I would also maybe want to try and fit the Drapion line in here. just a 1/1 of those, because I think that could be very, very funny. Personally, just something hilarious to stop your opponent from really doing anything and attacking. I think the Drapion could find a place in here as well. We're running 2 switch and a air balloon, just so we can have other options other than using Regieleki, but we're a little bit light on the switching options for that reason, that the fact that Regieleki has a free retreat. We're playing 1 Lost Vacuum, 1 Echoing Horn, 1 Energy Search. These are just kind of our little techie cards. Energy Search is really good because you can search for that water energy if you need to discard it. Or we play 3 basic lightning, so you can search for a basic lightning if that's the missing piece or whatever. So the Energy Search, instead of just playing another energy, is good when you have 2 types that you both need, or you need both of, I should say, for a specific purpose. And then the Echoing Horn is really, really cool because you can use Echoing Horn and increase your opponent's bench and take a big KO with Raikou, or you can Echoing Horn and boss something up and put something in play your opponent doesn't want there, which is also very, very strong in this format, like especially with players dropping a Radiant Charizard, attaching 1 energy, attaching a belt, switching and doing 280 quite literally out of nowhere. An Echoing Horn is very, very powerful in this format. And then we play the 2 Choice Belt and the Keep of Toughness, which I mentioned earlier. The energy cards we have: 4 Speed Lightning energy, 4 Water, and 3 regular Lightning energy. Speed Lightning is always good because it helps us draw cards. We can draw into whatever, you know, we like to draw. Having that access to Speed Lightning plus a concealed cards basically gives us 4 draw without using a supporter. Then we can use Bibarel as well. There's a lot of options in this deck, which is what I really like. I wanted to go for an options-based build, and I think I did a pretty decent job at it, but I might tweak things a little bit more. I want to try and add that Drapion line in here, as I said. I might cut the Luxray, I don't know, even though I think the concept is so cool. I'm going to have to test it in action when Regieleki comes out. But other than that, I'm very, very happy with my list. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and yeah, without further ado, like this video if you enjoyed. Comment down below, what do you think of this list? Would you like, would you dislike, what would you keep, and what would you change? And subscribe to the Hitmonchan channel. I post 2 new Pokemon trading card game videos every single week. I'm doing a lot of different videos now. I'm really experimenting and trying to find the best types of content. So let me know what kind of videos you like down below. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss any of my videos. And with all that said and done, Hitmonchan out.